The night he lay dying on the floor, one of the members texted, "Adam's dead right now on my floor." And one of the other boys put a smiley face to it. 2 weeks before, text messages went through where they were all making sure the fat kid was there, the obese kid, or the night it was happening, actually, they were saying, somebody rolled Fatty on his side. And then the response was, Fatty is on his side. And somebody said a pig roast came early. Just horrible things.
Adam Oakes was only 19 when he died from alcohol poisoning in 2021. He was just 4 months into his freshman year.
He started rushing the Fraternity Delta Chi of Virginia Commonwealth University chapter. I mean, his first night, it was Big Little night when they were doing the initiation. So his first night as a Delta Chi brother was his last night. The last communication I had with him was at 8 that night. I said, "Hey, how are you doing?" And he said, "I'm getting ready to go in the house." And I'm like, "What house?" And then never responded. And then I asked my wife, and she said, "It's the initiation night." And I was like, "Okay." And that we never heard from him again. We honestly thought that these universities and colleges were on top of the fraternities. One thing we did talk to him about was making sure that it is an approved fraternity within the college, meaning there's some oversight there.
Adam wasn't really a drinker, his father says. A friend had just pledged to another fraternity, and his initiation was a 3-mile run.
And so Adam was going through thinking, maybe they're going to make me run or something, or eating something bad. He didn't know drinking that amount of whiskey would kill him. I never told him, if you drink 40 ounces of liquor, you're going to die. I didn't think to educate him on that. I mean, we talked about drugs, and we talked about if you see others abusing women, I said, you don't let that happen. So we had conversations like that, but we didn't have one, don't drink 40 ounces of liquor. I mean, that's just unheard of.
Adam Oakes pledged a fraternity to make friends, his father said. He was funny and loved sports. He had always been large in size, but his heart was the biggest thing about him.
Adam was a true joy. Every time he walked in the room, he would light it up with a smile. And I felt like I was the only one that felt that way. But after his passing, we started to meet his friends, and every one of them had the same story. They all said the same thing. When Adam would show up at our house, we were excited. We were happy to see him. Even the parents said most kids like sneak into the house and run downstairs or up to their son's room. But Adam would pull up a chair, sit down and talk to us in the kitchen.
Adam's parents dealt with their staggering grief in very different ways. Eric sobbed. Linda was frozen in denial.
Disbelief. And even maybe a month afterwards, she didn't believe it. She didn't believe it. She couldn't. We had the funeral. I'm a freaking wreck at the funeral. A river of tears, and she's a rock. And I thanked her for that. She's like, my brain tells me it's not happening. It didn't happen. It didn't. He's going to walk through the door at any moment. The pain in our chest, even after a year went by, we were still having pains in our chests.
By 2022, 6 Delta Chi fraternity brothers had pleaded guilty or no contest to misdemeanor counts of hazing and providing alcohol to a minor. None of them received jail time.
Right now to some breaking news out of Richmond, where Virginia Commonwealth University has permanently banned the Delta Chi fraternity from campus. This following the death of freshman Adam Oakes.
Some fraternity members cooperated in making Death of a Pledge, a documentary about Adam's death that won a local Emmy and was broadcast by PBS. The film begins with Richmond police arriving at the off-campus row house where Adam's body was found on the living room floor.
You got his name?
They said his name is Adam Oakes.
Got a young male born in 1999, I think it was. He doesn't live here. He's a student at VCU. Got 4 guys here. I guess they were partying last night. They saw him around about 12:30 last night. Came back down this morning around about 9:17. He was unresponsive.
Do you see the vomit right by the fence?
Yes. See, it was on his side. Some blood or something.
It could have been anything. It could have been the alcohol. It could have been just the fact he passed out and that was it. Hit his face and then took a dive.
Hey, was he intoxicated last night?
Yeah.
On the way to my house, I stopped by the liquor store. I bought a regular bottle of Jack Daniels, and then I bought a bigger one.
The bigger bottle was a handle containing about 39 shots of whiskey. After drinking that entire bottle, Adam threw up and then passed out, his new fraternity brothers said.
In the group chat, guys were saying, you know, oh my God, Adam's dead, Adam's dead. And, you know, I'm thinking they're f***ing with me. You know, people say, oh, they're dead, passed out, drunk, oh, he's dead. I'm like, oh, he's dead asleep, you know what I mean? But then it started to get a little more serious, like, no, he's f***ing dead. Like, he's not waking up.
The police showed up here when it was like 11:30 in the morning. We have the Ring doorbell and they were ringing it. I saw them on the video and I just imagined they wanted my Ring doorbell video, right? Something maybe happened in the neighborhood. No way did I ever think anything like this could happen. And when they came in to the house, they said that they needed to speak to Linda and I together, and Linda was asleep, and so I woke her up, and that's when they told us the news. They said, there's no easy way to say it. You know, your son's dead. We're still gathering information, and there'll be an investigation. But alcohol was related, and there was no other factor. And I was just really confused because, I mean, Adam doesn't drink.
I'm Allison Martin. I was the prosecutor who handled the case involving Adam Oaks. The fraternity, the local ritual was that you chugged that first family drink with your big brother. Adam's turn comes up. He's matched with Andrew White. Andrew White, importantly, hands him a handle of whiskey. And the reason that's important is because we've got a handle which is bigger than the bottles that everyone else is getting, and because it's dark alcohol, that's a killer. His alcohol level at the time of death was probably in excess of a 0.40. He didn't have a chance.
I knew it was coming. In a way, I felt like I deserved it. You know, I walked straight into court, pled guilty to both charges because there was no other alternative. You know, I was guilty. I provided him the bottle. You know, I hazed him by having him drink it. And to put the family through some sort of trial is just unfathomable to me, to relive that. So it was something that I had to do.
The Oaks family channeled their grief into creating the Love Like Adam Foundation. The Oakses travel the country teaching the deadly consequences of hazing to college and high school students. During those appearances, they show the Death of a Pledge documentary to students.
We just finished our third presentation in 3 days to high school students in Virginia. When the video finished, you could hear a pin drop, and there were 600 students in the auditorium. The principal was like, never in my 20 years have I heard them being so quiet. We'll continue carrying the messaging as long as there's people that, you know, want to hear it.
One of President Joe Biden's last acts was signing a federal hazing law mandating education in schools. In civil suits filed by Adam's parents, the Oakses reached settlements with VCU, the local Delta Chi fraternity, and its international chapter. For information about hazing, how to report it, and what to do if you see someone in trouble, please visit www.lovelikeadam.com. This is Inside Edition Digital.